Hello, I'm Stive Collins and you are tuned into Noisegate. The last gig I mixed was great. It was my friend's Masco sound system. It was their new single launch at the Noisegate Social Club. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good night. It was good. I got started in live sound after I did a course in sound engineering. I actually thought I would be working in studios, and I finished the course, and one of my friends' bands had a gig on, early week, and they said, "Oh, you've done a sound course, and it says we need to bring our own sound engineer." So, I went down and plugged in a few mics, and it was okay. It wasn't great, and at the end of it, they offered me a job, and it was over a decade ago, and I haven't done anything else since. I recently did a show at the Recital Centre here in Melbourne. That was fantastic. Very acoustically sound room, very controlled, fantastic outboard equipment, and a good seated audience, so you could really do whatever you wanted there. That was good. I really like the Theatre Royale in Castlemaine, just such a beautiful old building, and really nice old school analogue setup there. Great staff, and they really know how to run that venue, so that's always a good one. And I mixed at this huge nightclub in Amsterdam called Paradiso, which was just really exciting, very state-of-the-art technology and sound and lights and everything. It's a multi-storied complex. That was like a mega club, so that was really good fun. I really enjoyed working with a local band called Big Smoke, and they definitely opened a few doors for me as far as working with other sort of Americana country style bands through them. They were definitely some of the more important sort of mixes of my humble little career so far. I did a tour with Courtney Barnett a few years ago, supporting Same for Kate on an album launch tour. We did 13 shows, I think, and that was really fun. It was a great crew and got to do some sort of bigger rooms. And Perch Creek are always good. I've done a lot of shows with them. They're a local family band, and they're just great people to tour with, and got an incredible live energy and excellent harmonies. And they're good friends of mine, so yeah, it's always nice to work with them. I think it does, definitely, and yeah, it helps to know what the band is trying to go for in terms of their sound, taste-wise, and you learn that through obviously doing your research, listening. But because I work with a lot of bands that play the style of music that I'm really into, for me it's just second nature, and I already can sort of get a good idea about what the band wants to sound like, and you talk with them about what sound they want to go for, and then I approach mixing definitely more from the artistic side rather than the scientific side. So I know just enough about the equipment to get the sound that I want, but I'm definitely a musician at heart, and that's how I've approached it. And yes, I would say it does definitely change how I mix, but I can mix any genre, but I prefer to sort of work with more of the Americana singer-songwriter acoustic folk bands, and then a few sort of rock bands, shoegaze, psychedelic music. Those are the genres that I've focused on in recently, I guess. Firstly, challenges, I think that the very nature of the job, it is quite nocturnal, and just working nights for a long time, that's a challenge in and of itself. Another big one that I've personally discovered is alcohol, and a lot of people do drink, and I stopped drinking nearly 2 years ago because it got the better of me. But you definitely don't need that to drink to be, still part of the scene and still have a good time. But just because of how available it is and such, it is a bit of an occupational hazard. So yeah, that's a big one for me, I think. Some of the most enjoyable things would definitely be mixing my friends' bands and just having that sense of community. I've met so many people through the job and had so many amazing experiences, and that's all because of music. And yeah, I think like mixing my friends' bands at festivals and stuff is definitely like my happy place, and I've found that, and I'm really happy to be able to contribute. I feel like it's a really meaningful use of my time to do sound for my friends' bands, and also I really like making playlists of house music to kind of set a vibe. And sometimes you get someone come up to you and ask you, what songs is playing over the PA system, and you tell them, and hopefully they'll go home and listen to that and maybe discover a new artist or genre that they haven't heard of before. So I really like that part of the job as well. No, I pretty much stick to the same routine, which is the first thing I do is turn on the whole PA system, flatten out all the settings from last night, and then I'll plug in some music and play it through the system just to have a listen, something that I'm really familiar with, just to test everything's working. And then, crucially, I will set up a vocal mic where I think the lead singer is going to be, and I will start tuning the foldback wedges. And that's, I believe, the most important thing to do, is to get that vocal sound coming through the wedges, stop it from feeding back, and really from then you can build. But if you don't have a good vocal sound in the monitors and you don't have that clarity and stability, knowing it's not going to feed back, then the rest of your mix is, not really. The priority goes to the vocal for most of the styles of music I work with, so I always try and start with the vocal.
My eyes are gonna be your savior someday.
Preferences would definitely be digital, but as long as it's not cheap, crappy digital, because if it's a smaller venue, I'd rather just cheap analog gear than the cheaper digital stuff. But I kind of started mixing when there was a bit of a crossover and digital just started coming in, so I'm very comfortable on both. But nothing beats a nice old analog system, but they take up a lot of space, and you're not really seeing much of that anymore. So preference would probably be for digital. They've got great workflow, and they have a lot of inbuilt effects and processing. So yeah, I would say that. As far as kit goes, I carry around a bunch of my own mics and a few nice DIs. So I usually use Sennheiser and Audix for vocals, and Sennheiser for instruments and drums. And clip-on drum mics are really handy, so you're not wasting mic stands. You just clip them on, it's easy. And occasionally I'll take some outboard effects pedals like delay or reverb, but most of the time all my kit can just fit in my backpack. What have I got coming up? I've got a few things. Right now I'm at the Evelyn Hotel in Fitzroy, and tonight I'm working for a fundraiser. There's a bunch of bands on. Fundraiser is for awareness and for domestic violence and violence against women. So it's money going to a good cause, and very happy to be helping out for that. I'm also got a work experience student with me here this evening. And then after this I've got, I've been working with this artist called Didiri, and we're doing the Vance Joy National Tour support, so we've got 9 shows through Australia and New Zealand. And so they're bigger sort of stadium shows, so I'll be mixing at Rod Laver for the first time next month, which I'm really excited about. Be good to get out there and fire up some big PA systems. And then we've got a couple of festivals, and then we're going back over to Europe again for a month, again with Didiri, to do some more shows over there, and then come back for a national tour for his new release. So yeah, it's keeping me pretty busy, keeping me out of trouble.
Unreal, man. Well, thanks very much, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, but you took from me.